Welcome all. Look what we did. Look what we did. It's so good to see the congregation, too. So good to see you. So good to see you. We stand at the threshold of a new future for our church, one that can hold and shape us as we continue to represent compassion and justice in our community. These buildings are not just buildings. They are containers for our faith, for our community to find places of dialogue, for people to be married and lives to be honored, for learning and inviting and welcoming and more. A church is nothing without intention and history and people to make it thrive. And we have built something that will help us thrive in so many ways, known and unknown. We will make history here today and in days to come. We will be faithful people of love always. We will carry out the sacred promises of our religious ancestors to live in covenants of love and mutuality. When we break those covenants, we will reimagine them and begin again. We remember today that we are bound together by care and concern for one another, not contingent on right belief, language, or who can and should speak. If we live for one another, we will live for our faith's purpose. These buildings don't do anything without us. So today we get to remember why we are here, and they symbolize our hopes together. Inside, you will see new names on some of the rooms. The Pat Davidson Parlor honors a woman who led with grace and welcome. The Crow Brothers Library honors two men who grew up in our church and were unassuming participants in learning here and gave us everything they owned at the end of their lives. They're not part of the Crow family that you know about. And the Don Crable Music Center honors the commitment to beautiful music that this congregation has made and Don has provided and led in this church for so many years. Each room has a description by its door. We invite you to explore the rooms and learn more about each of the rooms. I want to acknowledge some special guests that we have here today. My predecessor, Minister Emerita, Dr. Laurel Holman, is with us. Over there. Oh, there you go. Near the tree. Tommy Stewart, the mayor of University Park, is here. We're so glad to have the support and relationship with this city of University Park. When the church moved here in the late 40s, they had no idea what was going to happen up here. And it is so great to have the mayor here. We've had the mayors of UP at events with us before, and I'm glad that Mayor Stewart's with us. I want to acknowledge so many people who are also involved in this. We'll hear from many of them today, especially Julie Gregory and Emily Henry, who chaired the building teams. Countless hours. Acknowledge also always the staff of the church who put up with so much. And especially Kathleen Sams. If you see Kathleen, she organized a lot of what's happening today. We want you to keep your mask on when you're singing and when you're indoors. There'll be food in the courtyard, which is on the other side. After we cut this ribbon, we're going to flow through the buildings, and you can go out into the courtyard. We're going to have some great food and some music and all that. It's going to be good. And there's also a responsive prayer later and a hymn that we will sing. So that should be on your program. You should have that. First, I want to introduce our chair of the board, Dean Castellano, to bring us some greetings.
Thank you, John. it's really, really great to see. There's so many ministers here, I think they all want to get up and preach because there's a big audience out there. It's so good to see your faces and to be here. Mayor Stewart, thank you. Reverend Holman, welcome, everybody. So, the struggle has been real. It really has. We are here, though. And so every once in a while, and I've been doing a little archaeology. This building has 1949 on it. The Preston Road, the old Channing, was 1957. The sanctuary is 1964 it was dedicated. Holman Hall was dedicated in 2011, and here we are in 2021. So these are the moments that we get to stop the struggle. We get to turn around from the climb. We get to enjoy the view. We get to take a breath. We get to celebrate. We get to hug each other. We get to high five. We get to spike the football. Drink some wine, have some fun. And then we turn back around and there's more mountain to climb. And we're going to climb from this spot, from here, like we've been climbing for a long, long time. So this new space will invite people. It'll be able to, when we did the sanctuary, it was to strengthen our worship. When we did Holman Hall, it was to know more, to support the staff, to create an environment and a culture in accordance with our values. Here, this is our hospitality. This is our living room. This is where we're going to entertain. This is where we're going to listen to music. This is where we're going to invite people in. They're going to know. I can see a mother walking in, holding her daughter's hand and saying, "Who was Pat Davidson, Mommy?" That'll be a story to tell. That'll really be a story to tell. And then not only are the departed honored, but we can even honor the living. Who is Don Craven? And how many number one hits did he have? So thank you all. I would like to, first of all the committees and all the work and all the people that we're going to honor today, there's one person that's been on every committee, in every meeting, Reverend Daniel Canton. Thank you. We know what his dining room looks like. We know what his bedroom looks like. We've zoomed a lot with him. So thank you. You're the common thread through all this. This is truly your legacy. So now, after hundreds of meetings, thousands of decisions, stewarding these millions of dollars, the building committee, we get to say thank you to you. I have hung out a little bit with Julie and Emily. Julie is totally committed, totally engaged. And so is Emily. But Emily brings the cool to the equation. So they're a great combo because they're a force. They're very talented, very smart, very committed, and this doesn't get done without them. And the rest of the committee, Dave Aspinall, John Cunningham, Helen Duran, Gail Evans, Michael Martin, Amber Rayleigh, Dave Ralston, Janet Tharp, a special thank you to Kevin Yard, and a personal thank you to Brett Ratliff with the Pritchard Company, who is an adopted member of our church now. He represented all of us in this process and did an amazing job. Thank you, Brett. Okay, Julie.
Thank you, Dean. Well, such a beautiful day, and pinch me. I know Julie and I never thought this day would come. No, it's been an honor for us to represent the church in this role. And I think 3.5 years ago when we signed up for this, I don't think we really knew what we were signing up for. But it has really been truly amazing. I have gotten to know so many people in the church. I feel like I've built so many deep relationships through this process. And, we talked to so many congregants and so many committees and the staff tirelessly, to make sure that we're delivering a building, the final building of our campus, that is radically welcoming and had maximum flexibility. Because if if this past year and a half, 2 years has taught us anything, we really can't, we don't know what's coming next. And so this building has really created a very flexible space for us to open the doors to everyone, to open the doors to our community, and to create beautiful conversations here so we can all grow and learn together. So, again, yes, big thank you to our committee. If you're here, please raise your hands. Our building committee, so many hours. We had such a dream team. We really were able to break it down into so many different roles and responsibilities. And it was a team effort that we could not have done this without the team. Also want to thank Pritchard Associates, Brett Ratliff, who we already gave a shout out to, who's wearing some killer shades today. Good job, Brett. Brett, we and Leticia, yes, of course. I couldn't forget Leticia. Leticia, put your hand up. There you are. We could not have done it without these two, and are still, quite frankly, working through it. We didn't know, but we've learned quite a bit, and the role that they have played has really made our lives a lot easier. So thank you so much to Pritchard Associates. Next, we'd really like to thank Ginsler Architects and the design team. Who I saw Paul Mano and saw Rebecca Lowry. So please, and Matt Severance, please raise your hands. Thank you so much. I am a landscape architect, so I already kind of understand the ins and outs, but I do have to say I've gotten a much more respect for architects through this whole process, because they were really driving the ship and honestly have to know all the trades in order to coordinate it for all this to come together the way it has. So thank you so much. And then also would like to thank Ridgemont Construction. I see Shelley here. Ridgemont, just such an incredible group. I think from the very beginning, they felt like family to us. And so, Mike, where's Mike? Mike, raise your hand. Great. And then Brenda, I don't know if Brenda's here. I know there's a lot of Ridgemont people here, so please raise your hands. Raise your hands if you're part of Ridgemont Construction. If you haven't noticed, there's, obviously there have been supply chain issues and so many challenging obstacles that Ridgemont, and just being a contractor today, is not easy right now. So they have been working tirelessly for us, and so we really, really appreciate everything that they've done for us. But thank you so much for being here. And obviously we couldn't have been in this role if we didn't have the Capital Campaign and their tireless work as well. So Selden and Carol.
Come on up here with me. So, undeniably, this took a few dollars for us to put this together. We started the Capital Campaign in 2017. And we started off with a consultant, Jim Collins, who sent to all of us just the loveliest email last night out of the clear blue congratulating us. He was our outside consultant. He came in, taught us what we needed to know. And I want to just read off the names of the people that started. There's a few. So our first co-chairs were David Norton and Sherry Cook. Anybody that's here, please raise your hand. I think Sherry's here. I don't know about David. Then we had Casey McLaughlin and Michelle Touche, Angie and Joe Sifferman, my pal here, Selden Short, and David Schultz. They also were the ones that did that gigantic, wonderful party we had at the Arboretum, the kickoff party. That was all these guys. But I want to say something that's already been said, but you can't say it enough times. Our attempt was to contact every person in the church, meet with every person in the church, let them know what we were doing, why we were doing it. And I went back last night and looked through all the spreadsheets and all the appointments, and the lion's share of the work was done by Daniel. I mean, all the appointments that you went on, all the things that he did. When we were all getting burned out at the end, it was like, we can push a little harder. So without Jim, we wouldn't have known what to do. Without Daniel's leadership, it wouldn't have gotten done. So I appreciate that.
Thanks, Carol. And I have a few more names here. I feel like I just won an Oscar award. I want to thank the cast and crew and my director. No. I also want to mention the other clergy that were so instrumental in attending those monthly meetings. Beth Dana and Aaron White were also very much involved and very active with us as a strong leader. But Carol Castellano and her husband Dean were there every step of the way. We also worked with Barbara Mickey and Bruce Mickey. I couldn't have done it without them. Thank you so much. I saw them here today. Diana Bacon, Steve Dennis. Thanks, Steve. David Farabee. And Peggy Yard, a volunteer, and Laura Burford as well, and Guy Cage. So these people, and if I missed anybody's name, I apologize, but those are the names that we had on our list of people to thank. And I have to tell you, it's not too late. We are still, I want to thank you all, everybody here who gave small, medium, or large, that didn't matter. It's the fact that we all chipped in what we could. And now look where we are. How exciting is that? So thank you to everybody who contributed. And we still need a few folks to finish their fulfillments, and that's normal. We're still accepting those, the last of those donations, and it isn't too late to get involved. If for some reason you weren't here when we started this process, or you weren't in a position to help, but now you'd like to look here now at this wonderful space, and you want to get involved, please feel free to click into Realm or our website and make that donation. Thanks so much for everybody's help and support. And now back to Daniel.
I love fundraisers that never stop fundraising. Thank you, Selden and Carol. I want to also just say there were probably 5 or 6 board of trustees that were part of this. One thing you should know is right as COVID hit, the board of trustees was making a decision on whether to go forward or not. They made the right decision, and they built this while we were not here. They also got ahead of the supply chain problems. They probably saved us about 25% of the money. That was a huge thing. Thank you all, those board of trustees over the last few years that helped make this happen. I want to now invite up my volunteers who are going to lead us in a responsive prayer. If you all could come forward here, and we want you to look on your card. We're going to say this prayer. The italics are responsive for you to respond back to these fine folks up here. And then we're going to sing, and then we're going to go have a party. So, hold on a second. Yeah, maybe getting an order would be helpful. Something like that. Then we could just pass it down the line. Yeah. And I'll run around to the end. All right. Everybody ready? The church holds us by holding in love and holding hate out.
The building shelters us by making spaces for our spirits.
The space makes place for a bigger community than ours by encouraging us in learning and dialogue with all those around us.
The rooms invite us to be inviting and about our faith.
The light and sound show us the beauty of holiness all around us.
This place is for the practice of a faith of love, compassion, and justice that seeks to grow souls and connect us with the divine.
So we dedicate these buildings today with the help of many hands who made us strong enough to see the church grow and plans enough to see it through.
With the blessings of God, the hopes of our communities, and our commitment to being the best church we can be, we say together, may our doors be wide enough to welcome many who seek our form of religion,
and strong enough to keep us committed to our covenants of love, equity, and service. Don?
Turn your sheet over, please. This hymn has great significance to me. It was sung at the blessing of my first home here in Dallas, led by the Reverend Laurel Holman, many, many years ago. And so I invite you to join me and members of the sanctuary choir up here to sing this hymn as we continue the blessing of the new facilities of our church home. May nothing evil cross this door, and may ill fortune never pry about these windows. May the roar and rain go by. By faith made strong, the rafters will withstand the battering of the storm. This hearth, though all the world grow chill, will keep you warm. Peace shall walk softly through these rooms, touching our lips with holy wine, till every casual corner blooms into a shrine. With laughter drown the raucous shout, and though these sheltering walls are thin, may they be strong to keep it out and hold love in.
Emily? Indeed, may evil be kept out, hate and may love be held in. We cut this ribbon today on our new building. We invite you in and through or around to the food and party.
I serve on the board and the construction team on this city staff is helpful. It is clear.